This is Justin AMZN for Friday, November 15th, 2019. Take a look at the 5-minute from yesterday and today. We got the gap up I was talking about, and it faded quickly. Came into 1747, bounced about there a number of times today, and ultimately came into a really nice stair step and just collapsed. There's a number of triangles going on. You can zoom out and look at them the last couple of days. You can look at just today and see we're making some lower highs here, some higher lows, and we'll take a look at some of the options, really showing you kind of what was about to happen based on where the option price was. So if we draw in, let me sketch it on the chart. So there's a couple triangles here. Oops. That didn't click. There we go. From there, come on, there, like that. Or you can go from back here, like this. Or you can go from like over here, grabbing these highs. There's a number of different places that you can kind of sketch this in. But if you switch over to what's happening on some of the options at these times, you kind of see some correlation there with the moves. The first one I'm going to look at is right in here with the calls. Actually, no. Let me draw one more because I thought this was really interesting. So that wasn't a great drawing, but all right. We had this little bit of a spike in bullish volume come in right here as this was breaking out. So it's breaking out above these bearish candles. There's some selling in here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth and fifth bullish candle. You get this spike in volume. This was a trap. This is bulls trying to get in, thinking it's breaking out, it's going higher. People don't want to miss it. It's been held below this. There's been selling. The bears let the bulls get in here and then just sell it right back down with double top. And when that happened, let's see, let's switch over to the calls. Oops, what time is that at? That was right at 11:50. So right at 11:50, I'm looking at the 1750 call. You had been making some lower highs, and sure enough, you're breaking out right here, right at 11:50, 11:55. This is where the bulls were getting in. You don't have the same spike in the option, but you definitely did on the 5-minute of the stock. But you can see, it broke out great. It retests, which this at least would be a better place to get in, right at that same level if you're going bullish here. And then it starts to move up, but your stop should be right here. So this really, you could have been getting in 4 by 3, and you would have lost it. It's that simple. It was making lower highs. This was a trap right here, and this was not going bullish. We were right into the lows from yesterday. The last 3 hours or so was just going sideways, and this was the lows that we were running into here, and then again here. So this was just a retest of another pivot. It's not one that we've got a line for, but you can extend this into yesterday's prices. Oops. Can extend this into yesterday's prices and see, yeah, sure enough, we're in this range. Definitely right here we have these lows that we're holding, and then we run into that here. So that's where that resistance is coming in. You also have, I know I'm just kind of connecting it to here, but if you extend this back further, we're right below this downtrend line. You can even go out further and let's do that for a sec. Let's go back even more. You've got some of these highs in here that you're running into with where we opened up today. Really, really close. If you just connect, kind of the closing, the highest closing or opening price, the highest body, let's say that. You're really close to where this opened up, and it just flashed up and came right back down. And if we switch over to the daily, you can see this is a very similar gap up to what we did from Thursday to Friday, as we did for a couple weeks ago. So what I was talking about on Thursday, this gap up from here to here looks very similar from here to here. And then the bearish candle is very similar as well. This one moved $32. This one moved 28. We gapped up, around $5, $6, $7 on both of these days, and you just had a lot of this bearish sentiment coming in. Didn't quite get as much buying into the close as this one got pushed back up. This one ultimately bounced off of 1747, and today, obviously, we went further down below it. We're right into this downtrend channel, so a really nice target right here, right around 1737. And I mean, it's technically a retest of that, but it looks like there's much more room to go bearish. We have only the slightest, tiniest bit of bullish momentum left. You can't even see it, but there's still a tiny little positive blue histogram there. Anyway, with the squeeze, let this retest, see if it'll come back up to 1747 Monday, even pushing a little bit higher than that, and look for places to get in, on smaller time frames than daily. But your stop, if you're trading this straight here on the daily, your stop should be, up here. Give this some room because it's really been all over the place. But I mean, that's if you're doing it right off the stock. If you're doing it off of options, we'll look at ways to trade that in the next couple days, bearish on the 5-minute. All right, so you have, just some continuing lower. We come back over here. How the bullish move didn't work. Let's look at some. Let's look one more time at the calls, because you'd want this to hold, and it would start at 2, right at 1240. And so right at 1240, you're right in here at this same price, and you put a really nice base right at $2. You really could have been buying this at $2 rather than getting in a breakout. And you could have been buying at 2 and out at 4, and that would have been a great trade a couple times. Buy in here, sell up here, buy in here, selling here, and buying here, and it didn't go up. It came back down. And you're hoping that it's not, if you got in 2 by 1, you're hoping that it's going to hold that. But right here, it's already broken down this level right at 1240, 1245. And this is kind of the signal that something changed. And so if you switch over to what's going on in the puts, it continues lower and then does the stair step. If you're still looking at calls into the stair step, that's fine. But you can set this up. Oops, click the wrong way. Sorry. You can set something up to get in bullish above it and a stop below. And that's a nice way to trade a stair step. But you shouldn't just be doing that on the calls, because if it breaks down, I mean, it's not just going to pause here or here. It should continue lower. This has been a lot of sideways action. I mean, it had a lot of range initially here. So if we look for kind of the 3 hours of sideways, it's really, it's even still a little too high. Probably these smaller candles, and that's 3 hours, right? Something like that, 3.5 hours where it's going sideways. Obviously, there's some range to it. This almost looked like a little channel, and it was just making kind of a nice base at 1747, and it broke down. But again, looking at this 1245 time, just because you have this angle on it, and you even have a bullish candle, this was another trapping candle. If you look at what's happening on the calls, let's switch over and look at the puts at that same time. So the calls are breaking down. The puts are actually holding really steady and starting to break out. This low that it put in here, 172, was just a few cents below the opening low, 175. So, this is just how the options move. So at the open up here, it made a low price of 175 on the 1750 puts. And then over here was making a new low of 172. It's just that much premium got sucked out of it over these couple of hours, because it's it's out of the money. It's trying to get to zero. I mean, it was bouncing back and forth, in the money, out of the money, all day until this point where it got in the money here and it's really started to hold. And so as it's moving in the money, it broke below that uptrend I just deleted. Let's see, can I get it back? Yep, that one. It broke below that. Okay, so something's going bearish, and then it comes right into this one, and you really last have this one right here making a stair step, and it starts to break below that, And so now you've got the 1747 price, which we've had on here since June of last year. And it's holding that really nicely for 25, 30 minutes and then starts to break down. And not only does it break down, it actually retests into the 21, which gives it even more of just a push lower. You just see this start to roll over and fall, and just helps push that even further. And so let's see, it actually broke down. Oops. Actually broke down. Why is this jumping? Sorry. Broke down at 125. So if we come back into the puts at 125, yeah, it was right there on that candle. You could have been in this before that just because you're watching what's happening in the calls, where the calls are breaking down here and it's starting to go sideways all through this. You could have really been getting in 4x3 right through here and been in for this ride. It ran all the way to 17, which, yeah, that definitely had some momentum stored up to move that far. At least you should have been in just holding this into the downtrend channel here, and then probably looking for a place to take some profits as it makes a hammer inside candle. Looks like it's going to break out, and just look for an exit here. And this is really similar. Like, this is the low here, 1737.33. That's right at the price for this downtrend channel. So that would have been a great target once it pushes below 1747. Just all this coming together to show, okay, on a 5-minute, it's breaking down. On a daily, it's retesting into the downtrend channel. And, just kind of gives you some extra confidence that, hey, let's take some profits here. This is where to get out. And so that would have been the 150 candle. So if you're in at 125 on the puts, so if you're in, right here, 4x3, maybe you get a better fill than 4. But then at 150, you're all the way up here. Let's say you're getting out at 12. Let's move from 4 up to 12. That's 8R in half an hour or so. That would have been a great trade and a really nice setup with a stair step and a really nice target. Even if you had gotten out for anything, anything smaller than 12, I mean, you're still looking at a really nice gain really quickly. And yeah, it just had a really nice, Amazon just had a really nice move today. It jogged around a lot during the day, and I'm sure some people getting in bullish, getting in bearish with options were getting stopped out. The focus of this video today was the 1750, just because we just straddled that price for so long. We got into that price yesterday, we held it yesterday, and today we just kept showing signs that, hey, 1750 is not holding. And then there was a question, are we really going to take out 1747? And for a while, it looked like it was going to hold until right in here, where it just got so small, so quiet. And yeah, ultimately just took out the low. I don't know if you would have held all the way up to 17, if you would have been getting in at a low. If you did, that's amazing. And, had you been getting in bearish way up here, because I said it was going to gap up and fade. And I didn't have an order set up to get in up here. Really wish I did. Just, something would have worked out amazing to have, been getting in bearish here and getting out even on this first move. But I think even the moves here, let's see, if you go from this price down, ultimately that, I think that was very similar to the move that we ended up having here. Nope, not quite there. Let's see, I guess from here, just took longer. So similar range moves. This one obviously went really quickly. This one took, 3-4 times as long to get down that far. But really just seeing some kind of measured moves similar as things went for the day. So yeah, a lot happening. There were some places to get in bullish down in here, some places to go bearish, but more so the edge is bearish. And so now, we just kind of look for any sort of retest to 1747. If it can get back up to the 1750s, if it can retest even back up to the 21. The 21 has been curving lower, so we'll see if how quickly that starts to come down. The 21, obviously, it's taking 21 periods, 21 closes to form this this location. And so once we get some of these closes up here out, it'll start to drop but we haven't had a lot of closes below this, so it's going to take a little while for that to go. It could give us some opportunities for it to run up into the 21 as it holds up in this area, just like this. Even though we're getting closes way down here, the 21 didn't really dip below 1747. So we'll see how quickly that gets back down to 1747, and then if it continues lower, we should see more closes down here. And man, I mean, it could run for a ways. Even if it comes down to the bottom edge of this channel, I mean, you're talking low 1600s, maybe even into the upper 1500s. If it does that, we have a line like this that really has not been in play for a while, but we could see if there's any sort of move where we get into this this location. Let's see, this is kind of X marks the spot in early December into the upper 1500s. We'll see if something like that can happen. But it can move faster than that, slower than that. It's taken out this support that it was holding so well here. So it's looking much more bearish, and it just does not have to move up anymore. It's showing that it's taking out those lows. So right now, I'm looking at this bearish, just looking for some rallies to get in bearish on a longer time frame. But it could give you some smaller opportunities to get in bullish and ride that back up a little bit as it retests. So we'll still look at bullish and bearish trades, look at the options, and just seeing which ones we can find the right support and resistance and the trends, and get the right entries for. So hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.